that business of effectively dividing responsibilities in a large organization where your job is to do the marketing, your job is to do the finance was completely baffling to me because you'd always done everything, you know. And so I really spent sort of the first 3 years floundering about, failing to understand how a business worked. Now, in some ways, I think in the long term, that was actually an advantage. Because my natural assumption was to look at questions from a systems perspective, not a component parts perspective. Now, I've always wondered, if you look at the success, absolutely disproportionate, insanely disproportionate commercial success of various ethnic groups, okay, who have typically entered the country through shopkeeping, okay, or possibly running a restaurant. The family business, whether it's, Indians, it would have been sort of Jewish tailors in the 19th century, etc. One of the probable reasons, I suspect, I don't know if this applies to Rishi Sunak, I guess, is that if you grow up in a shop, it's a free MBA. If you grow up in a shop, if you grow up in a restaurant, in a sense, you actually get to understand everything, the whole equation of business. And as a consequence, you don't look at a business through its component parts, through a kind of, divide and optimize approach. You actually look at the business as a whole because you have the power, in a sense, to influence all of those different... So you naturally think strategically in a way that I think most people in organizations don't, because they've been given what I call a quarter of the Sudoku. I don't know if you do Sudokus. Do you?
No, numbers, words I'm down to play with. Numbers, even that book I tried to read.
But the way I describe an awful lot of large businesses' approach to things is the assumption that the optimization of the parts will lead to the optimization of the whole. In fact, those are actually contradictions. If you optimize individual parts of a complex system, by definition, what you achieve overall is suboptimal. And the way I describe it is there are lots of... You can't cut a Sudoku into 9 squares, hand them out to 9 different people and say, can you solve your bit of the puzzle? If you haven't got the whole thing, you can't solve it. And I think that may be why, people who grow up in shops, people who grow up in small businesses, actually, it undoubtedly ill-equips you in a way for working in large organizations. Because what the large organization is doing seems stupid, and so you don't play the game. But on the other hand, deep down, you're right not to play the game because the game is stupid.
So how did that... I completely agree. It's like you want the few... So you said if we're going to highlight not one fuck up, but you said that you had that almost shopkeeper learning growing up, right?